Hello and welcome to the debate. I'm your host Sana Makul with you at BTB World. In today's show, we will be taking a look at the political situation of the country in light of the context that the PTI chairman and the former Prime Minister Imran Khan has been trying to prepare the entire nation for, which is regards to what he has long been calling Hakiki March or Azadi March, in which he is speaking about the fact that this is something which is going to bring real freedom to the country. And he's, of course, also using words such as sacrifice and jihad, giving the entire political movement a religious touch as well. We unfortunately have seen this kind of rhetoric from the PTI in the past as well, and we're going to try and see this in the context of what has happened in the recent days in the political scenario, including the cybersecurity issues with regards to audio leaks, which have discussed various issues, including the cipher which has been used by PTI and its leadership regarding the US-led controversy and conspiracy that they keep on claiming is the result of the ouster, is because of which the result of the ouster of the former Prime Minister actually happened. When we take a look at this entire setting, of course, we're going to try and understand what is going on, what sort of strategy is being employed by the PTI and the PTI chairman, and what all this means. Specifically, when we take a look at this long march, whose date or time has not yet been announced, and apparently the PTI chairman claims that there are things that only he knows that he's not discussing because he's concerned of phone tappings, and that this is something that only he knows he has planned and nobody else is prepared for it. He thinks he knows what the government is planning, but they don't know what he is planning. This is, of course, the claim that has been put forward, and we still haven't really seen a date coming in. And then there's, of course, the issue of the probe into the audio leak, something that the PTI chairman has said that the PTI is going to be moving the courts for, to form the establishment of a JIT regarding this matter, to try and figure out the authenticity of these audio leaks, and then, of course, the involvement of any intelligence agency, which the PTI chairman has claimed is something that has been done and is not the role of the intelligence agencies, so he claims. We're also going to be taking a look at what this means in terms of the overall investigation that, of course, the government has also announced with regards to the comments coming in from the Interior Minister as well, to the involvement of no foreign intelligence agency being a part of this, and no hostile intelligence agency behind this, and in fact some staff who has been employed at the PM House being part of the reason why this has been coming out. This is something that he has stated, but of course the probe is still continuing, and we're going to be seeing the results later on, of course. In light of what has been discussed by the PTI chairman, there's also the issue of the recent oath taking with regards to this Hakiki Azadi March that has been spoken about by the climate minister, Ms. Shareen Aman, in which she talked about how this is not something that the PTI leadership should be focusing on when we have the devastating floods going on and the huge cost and damage that we have incurred. There is, of course, a lot of criticism coming in with regards to what the PTI leadership is doing, but the climate minister has not withdrawn her comments, and has reiterated the importance of this measure in terms of the flood situation. We're also going to be taking a look at the FIA's probe into the prohibited funding case, and how we're going to be seeing the evolution of this along with the political dynamics of the country at the moment. For this and more, of course, we've been joined in the studios, as always, by senior analyst Raja Faisal. And we've also been joined online by senior analyst Farooq Patafi today from Gabadar. And we've also been joined by Ahmed Jawad, Prime Minister's focal person on digital media and technologies, and also Mr. Iftikhar Ahmed, who's a senior journalist. Thank you very much, everyone, for being a part of the debate. Let me start with you, Ahmed Jawad Sahab. When we take a look at what has been going on for quite some time now, it seems perhaps that this announcement of the Hakiki Azadi March is perhaps more lucrative than the Hakiki Azadi March itself, which is perhaps why this is being delayed, because we see in terms of what is going on that the political narrative that the PTI has been playing for quite some time is now, of course, being damaged by the recent audio leaks, and of course, the way that the political situation has evolved. And it seems now that perhaps the hesitancy in terms of announcing this comes from the fact that the result or the impact will not be seen. Something perhaps that the PTI chairman also claimed himself, that what happened on the 25th of March wasn't something that he was expecting, and that this time he hopes that the people will actually come out and support him. Do you think that's really the case, and we're not going to be really hearing any announcement of any date and time anytime soon, because then what card is left to play?
Sana, thank you very much. First of all, I would be mentioning the background of this political threats coming ever since Imran Khan has stepped out of Prime Minister House on 9th April. And from that time, it's almost more than 6 months that he's hurling these threats, sometimes long march, short march, jalsa, jalus, aiming to destabilize the government, predicting that the government will fall, promising that we will remove the government. So this is not something new. This is a 6 month continuous effort which is making to destabilize the government, which obviously is not good for the country. It has its own adverse effects, especially at the time when country is going through the worst natural disaster in the history of Pakistan. One third of Pakistan is underwater, and we will be facing serious shortage of food in the future. Because perhaps all the crops are already destroyed, and the next crop of wheat perhaps maybe one third or half of the country may not be able to see the next crop. So we are facing serious challenges. UN estimate is $30 billion losses which Pakistan has faced due to this floods. And
And
under
this is, of
these
course, just the initial assessment. Yes.
yeah, it's just the initial assessment. And now, under these, that is why I'm saying that I wanted to talk about the background. And now, if we go back, you also mentioned about this 25 May dharna attempt by Imran Khan. It was obviously failed, and I think Pakistan's law enforcement agencies, they handled uh, very well, and there was a lot of criticism on the use of tear gas, but tear gas is used when you have to protect the public property, when you have to uh, protect the peace of the society. So it is the right of the law enforcement agencies when they see that the city, the place is threatened by a crowd, and which we saw that how the trees were burning in blue area. We can recall how the metro stations were destroyed. We can recall how the public property was destroyed. We can also recall that Imran Khan was given this permission. Government also gave him this permission. This is his democratic right to come, have a jalsa jalus, have his protest recorded, and then go away. But after that, he was insisting to go to the D Chowk and carry out a dharna. Supreme Court, it was in violation of Supreme Court orders as well. So
Right.
he cannot be trusted that this time when he is planning something, he may not do something the repetition of the last time. But we will also see the repetition of the last time, the way law enforcement agencies handled last time. I'm sure and I hope that the law enforcement agencies should not allow to disrupt the life of Islamabad, should not allow the damage to the public property. So it is a democratic country. People have the right to announce protest, and they can do it indefinitely. I mean, this is something
Right,
which
absolutely. And I'd like to talk more about that possibility, of course, with Mr. Iftikhar Ahmed as well. Iftikhar Sahab, when we take a look at these announcements, of course, as Ahmed Jawad Sahab was talking about, we've been hearing different versions of these marches and the announcements for quite some time now. But this Hakiki Azadi March has been spoken about for very long, and we haven't really seen an actual announcement or an actual strategy with regards to that. At the end of the day, when we take a look at what's really going to happen in terms of a march or a protest, it doesn't seem to be something which is going to fulfill the kind of objectives that are being spoken about by the PTI chairman in terms of the government perhaps being forced to call elections, or for making it impossible for the government to run, or to have some sort of strategy or plan in mind, which yet again is a surprise, and he's only privy to that. But when we take a look at all of this and the kind of standing that the PTI enjoys, or the popularity that the PTI chairman has in the context of these marches that have been going on for quite some time and perhaps have seen some sort of fatigue, and then the audio leaks as well, where do you think the PTI really stands in terms of the way that the public is viewing their movements at the moment, and then the political position that they currently have in the nation, and then also in terms of the strategy that they're employing? Do they really have something planned? Iftikhar Sahab, are you with us? I believe Iftikhar Sahab can't hear me. Iftikhar Sahab, are you with us? Right. We're going to go to Farokh, you as usual, our savior. When we take a look at all of this and the entire context in which the PTI has been working, the same question to you in terms of what really is going on in the way that the people are viewing the PTI, the political position it currently enjoys, and the kind of strategies that they have moving forward, because it seems perhaps they're falling short of these rallies or marches.
Right, Sana, earlier I was listening to Ahmad Jawad Saab, and I was wondering when he said that Pakistan is a democratic country which has a right to protest. I was wondering what exactly is happening in the country. Are we a nation that has a right to protest, a democratic nation that has a right to protest on the appointment of next army chief? Are we a democratic country where we are protesting to create some kind of environment, conducive to undemocratic means? These are questions which are very important, because it seems that when you keep on listening to Imran Khan Sahab and his speeches, you realize that what he is demanding is total, submission to his demand. And in that kind of a state of affairs, don't agree, then he's going to actually come and protest. Once again, what is mystifying is that while he actually threatens to protest, he hasn't started it yet. So what exactly is going on is a big question for the entire country at this moment, and we have to, is it worth it? Because, in democracies, usually the appointment of army chief or any, senior official in unelected departments is not an issue on which you are supposed to. Of course, protest for the rights of people at this moment when the country is underwater, when 33 million people are displaced, when they are badly affected, disaffected. Why is it that we are threatening to protest, but we are not? In a way, when I ask this question, whether democracy can have an environment where democratic means are used to actually bolster democratic causes, I think we are at the same place, and we have similar kind of examples. And because of that, Pakistan once again threatens itself to becoming an undemocratic government where the change comes to democracy, but then the focus becomes undemocratic.
Absolutely, and that's
Sana,
a very good point. Yes, Faisal.
Sana, I would like to go towards Ahmad Jawad Saab once again. Ahmad Jawad Saab, we have seen in past, obviously, that whenever this kind of threat comes from the opposition party, of course, the government benches, they do something that can deter the opposition party. Right now, we are hearing that of course there can be a political deterrence that can be created within Punjab Assembly. So, should we expect that in coming days there will be a political deterrence that can, create sort of earthquake within the opposition party, which is PTI party, and of course it is the ruling party of Punjab. So that can be, a good deterrence that can save the government and that can counter all of these threats coming from the PTI, sir.
Faisal, first of all, after massive floods, we should not be talking about any kind of earthquake, whether it is in Punjab or something.
Yeah.
But yes, this is our political right, this is our democratic right, especially in an assembly where the majority is on a few votes. So you should always expect there can be a no confidence motion, and
Exactly.
part of the democratic system. And this is what the present Punjab government has done, and so they should be expecting if there is unity in their own rows and columns, and their minister has resigned today, they are unable to perform, and it was quite an unnatural government alliance, I would say. A PTI, which is considers itself the largest political party of Pakistan, considers itself the most popular, ideological, talking about Riyasat-e-Madina and to bring change in Pakistan. And when they get an opportunity to make government in Punjab, their choice is Chaudhry Parvez Alai. In the past, Chaudhry Parvez Alai was quoted as the biggest dacoit of Punjab. So what an elevation from the biggest dacoit of Punjab becoming the chief executive of Punjab with the blessings of the same person who called him dacoit. So it is quite an unnatural, I would say, alliance. There is a ideological differences within the party. I know there are still people in PTI who believe in ideology, and though such people are kept at a distance from Imran Khan. Imran Khan's close cabinet, kitchen cabinet, his advisors can only be those who can understand his direction, even without his saying anything. He does not like people who might make arguments or who has a different opinion. He wants to make his own decision for the political party, which has been very recently endorsed by the president, Dr. Arif Alvi, also when he said that this was his own decision. So you can well imagine what should be the situation of the Punjab government. We don't see any performance during the floods. We have seen that this government was totally missing. And I also endorse a very good point coming from Farah Patafi that yes, we have the democratic right, we can protest, but why it is synchronized timing of appointment of the new army chief? Is it a coincidence? And secondly, the point which I raise that why you are coinciding it purposely with the massive destruction which we have faced in Pakistan due to floods. So the timing of such long march and such protest, it may be your democratic right, but it is absolutely, it does not convey very well for this country. And it definitely shows some hidden agenda. The main purpose is how to destabilize this government, making sure that this government should not be able to perform. Now that we have seen that Mr. Ishaq Dar has come back, and in last 1 week, 27 rupees dollar has gone down. The rupee is getting stronger. Stock exchange is getting better. So if we have some hope that we can recover things despite having huge challenge of the destruction of floods, we are still hoping that the Pakistan economy might recover, might take off. But on the other hand, the agenda of Imran Khan since 9 April 2022 till today is somehow he has to stop this government to perform or to continue in the government. and he is
Right,
constant.
and so far, even though Amit Jawad Sahab, that may be the case, we haven't really seen any success in that. So it's obviously posed to question the strategies that are currently being employed. But Faisal, before you move on to a question, I'd like your comment also with regards to the way that the relationship between PTI and its allies is evolving when we take a look at all of this context and different discussions coming in, especially with regards to the PTI chairman and the kind of conversations that we have seen. Do you think that there's something to worry about in the sense that there may be real problems or cracks emerging within this relationship, especially with regards to the PMLQ? And if that is the case, what do you think is really the focus of the PTI at the moment? Because it doesn't seem to be taking that into account or not looking inwards at all. They're focused on something entirely different.
Yes, Anna, it's a very good question. And to me, I think PTI's situation right now is, we always say one in hand and one in bush. And I think right now PTI has something in hand. Rather than saving it, they are looking towards the bush to get another one. I think rather than getting towards that, they just need to save it, whatever they have in their hand. And as earlier Ahmed Jawad Sahab has rightly pointed out, that where they were needed, they were not there. Of course, I'm talking about the flood relief. Situation is worst, and it is getting worse day by day, and they need to fix it first of all. And rather than heading towards Islamabad, they need to fix their political problems within Lahore right now. And there is sort of I am hearing things which only Ahmed Jawad Sahab can confirm, that there are a good number of people from within Kaf League and PTI who are still in touch with colleagues from the Noon League. Obviously they are in touch with them, and as we know that the number game is so marginal. Like PTI is having, as they claim, 186 in number, and of course 179 is of the opposition party. So to me, I think they need to save themselves first. And obviously the news I am hearing from my sources, it can only be confirmed by Ahmed Jawad Sahab, that there are a few number of the parliamentarians who are in touch with the PMLN. So it is a threat to PTI, and it is a threat to Kaf League themselves, and they need to fix that first rather than heading on the GT road and coming towards
All right.
Islamabad.
Before we move on, let me just get Ahmed Jawad's confirmation on this. Jawad sir, would you be in a position to confirm or deny this?
Sana, first of all, I was just wondering that what exactly Imran Khan might be looking in the bushes, because these days I think the only thing we are all looking around, it is the audio leak, video leak. So I don't know what kind of motivation he has to look for things in the bushes. On the other hand, to my assessment, if we will see this long march coming towards Islamabad, as they are planning and announcing repeatedly, we would also be seeing some kind of a movement in the Punjab Assembly for the no conflict motion. So you will see two simultaneous political activity happening almost one after the other or simultaneously. This is what I can predict.
All right. Farooq, when we take a look at this march that is supposedly going to happen sometime soon, do you think that this is something that is really going to materialize? Because at the end of the day, when we take a look at what is being talked about, it seems that perhaps this is something that is the last card for the PTI to be able to play, or is supposed to be something really big. It's also hyped up now that when we are actually going to be seeing it, will it be able to meet the expectation that is being set at the moment? And if not, and if this march actually does happen, what sort of face saving will there be for the PTI's leadership? Because they've been talking, of course, about the elections, and that doesn't seem to be happening. And if that doesn't happen, will they have some sort of face saving? Is there going to be any way for them to go back on this?
Right, Sana, and that is a very good question. But earlier, before I answered that, I wanted to actually go back to what Faisal was saying. I think that was a very deep comment regarding looking toward bushes. I think that we are 15, 16 years late in looking toward bushes. They are no more in power, right? At this moment, President Biden is ruling America. Uh, so in that state of affairs, I don't think that that is
Yeah.
wise. Yeah, but
Right.
regarding your question, I think that I will not put past anything Imran Khan Saab. I think that he can muster the support that's needed for education, and he can come over and protest as well. But my concern is what is the historian going to write about this moment? That when 33 million of Pakistanis were devastated by floods,
Yeah.
and they could not have
For sure.
and medicine, when they did not have that shelter. At that time, one leader, or I'm sorry, I'm going to use this word, one demagogue was threatening to actually scale the walls of the federal capital and paralyze its capacity to actually deliver solutions. Similarly, it also, really guts my heart that at that time when so much suffering was going on and the country was facing many challenges, the country's 50 plus channels were actually debating whether Imran Khan is going to actually invade Islamabad or not. I think that this is my biggest concern regarding the natural resource as well. Right now, perhaps all the leaders should be getting together, trying to find solutions for the people of Pakistan who
Absolutely.
have so generously given them votes and mandates repeatedly. I think that it was time to actually pay them back through good governance and through consensus. That doesn't seem to be happening. But regarding Imran Khan, I think that he is not merely asking for fresh elections. What he is asking for is, end of the government for one appointment. And the sad part is that the head of the institution that he wants to appoint, or actually wants somebody else to appoint, not this government, that institution keeps on saying that it does not want to focus on politics at all. It wants to actually serve the nation valiantly as it has been doing. And, despite that, we keep on dragging that institution and all heroes into this controversy. I think that Imran Khan Sahib should be actually pausing for a moment and asking himself, is it worth it? Do you think that after what you're going to do, and if you're trying to actually paralyze the federal capital, after that, even if you come back to power, even if you get the kind of power that you want,
At
will
what
you be
cost?
able to protect from the country? If that is not so, then why are you actually wasting so much time of yours and of
Absolutely, and we really hope that such kind of thinking prevails, and we're going to we should be able to see something like that happen. But whether we do or not, that remains to be seen. Ahmed Jawad Sahab, when we take a look at what has been said by the PTI chairman, there's obviously also a lot of criticism in terms of the institutions and the government alike. And we see that in the aftermath of the recent interview that Nawaz Sharif also gave, he has talked about how this, of course, is something that needs to be moved towards the institutions, and perhaps the accountability needs to start from there. When we take a look at the current discussion with regards to the long march, the previous rhetoric, the criticism of the institutions, the audio leaks, and then, of course, the talk of the cipher and US-led conspiracy, there is so much that has been said by the current government, including the Prime Minister himself, about what a nuisance or a problem the PTI chairman Imran Khan has become. But despite all of this, we haven't really seen any kind of tangible action in terms of dealing with this scenario. What really is the way forward in terms of this strategy? Because it's coming in, these grievances are also being shared by the top leadership, of course, including Nawaz Sharif as well, and then from statements coming in from the PM expressing his opinion quite candidly with regards to what he thinks of of the PTI chairman and what sort of impact he's having. And then, of course, other leadership have also talked about the same. And we have audio leaks and other such examples that are being cited. Yet, when we take a look at the consequence, we don't really see much happening on that side. What do you think will be the response of the PMLN on that?
Sana, when we talk about the video and audio leaks, what comes to my mind is that from where actually these things started. If you recall, it was the video of Chairman NAB, which was released in the previous government under Imran Khan. And I, in fact, know that how it was released. It was on the behest of the government, and I exactly know who was asked to do that, and it was released. It was to keep the necessary influence on the chairman NAB, not the so-called political accountability which Imran Khan was looking for on the opposition. So that was the sole purpose. But like as it is said, as you sow, so shall you reap. So when you were in the government, you were having this video and you were really keeping that influence on the chairman NAB or blackmailing or exploiting him for your political objectives. It was not accountability. It was political objective. It was political exploitation and political victimization. And now today, when we see around videos and audios are coming, some are just in the WhatsApp groups or WhatsApp private messages because perhaps those videos cannot be shown on the social media. I don't know who all have seen those videos, but these videos have also now been shared, and it is very shameful. If Imran Khan is feeling today very disturbed about this video and audio leaks, and in his Jalsa, his teams are preparing those fact video samples, showing to the public that these are the videos, this is how they use the technology and try to
Right.
distract. So basically, it reflects his guilty conscience that what he is expecting, because
Right.
he
So, do you
knows.
think that his call for moving the courts to form a JIT to probe into the audio leaks is also part of this, and is just something that he's using in order to escape the criticism?
Obviously, Sana, if you just look at the very briefly, I'll try. It raises very serious question of credibility. The first, which was between Malik Riaz Hussain and his daughter, and it was about an 8 carat diamond ring for the first lady and Farah Gopi. And then we hear another audio when the first lady is saying, Arslan Beta. So you can imagine what kind of credibility, how the office of Prime Minister was being used. And then we heard the audio of Cypher, which basically he's saying that we have to play. Yes, we know that he's a spokesman, he likes to play, but Pakistan is not a playground. Now and now the latest was horse trading. Now imagine it reflects this series of audios is basically reflect the mindset and the personality and the approach of Imran Khan about the politics. It is about that at every cost he has to have the power in his hand, and this has now been out. This is reflected. The only thing is that people have to open their eyes and they should understand what kind of standing political fascist threat we are facing in Pakistan when Pakistan is
But
already.
Ahmed Jawad Sahab, what are you doing to open the eyes of the public? Because it seems that they are ready and happy with their eyes closed.
Sana, that's a very good question. You see, the only thing that you can open the public eyes that your performance to use the media and social media today for the awareness of the public. You have to be better than the best. If PTI as an opposition is good or better, then we cannot complain that how the public should perceive the narrative. That narrative will be sold whosoever is the political party who has the better technology, better expertise, better strategy. So I agree with your question that how much we are doing to open the eyes. I think it's not at all enough. At least I would say that we have not been able to do enough to open the public eyes because the other party, the opponent, they have been doing quite good in the field of social media.
Great, I commend
That
that.
I think Ahmed Jawad Saab has very smartly concluded the equation right now, because he's very right about it, that if we look at the performance of the other party in terms of social media, I am someone who's a frequent user of social media.
Yes,
and
we
a
know
f-
that.
and obviously I keep on seeing that the only thing which government right now is lacking, I believe, it is the right tools they can use and the right narratives they can produce from different processions and different jalsas. If they do it right now, I think it would be great. And as Ahmed Jawad has pointed out, the videos and audios since the day when we saw that the obviously you know Riaz Malik and his daughter, uh, the way they were, that audio was the first one, and then later on there were so many, and nobody is out there who can constantly knock them around again and again on social media. And by the way, I wanted to share here, and I think a couple of days ago I mentioned in the program as well, I met with two of my friends after 5 years. They are very well educated, very well settled, very professional they are. But when I asked them about the latest audios of Imran Khan, even they did not know about it, because they said they are not on social media. They are not using it. So to me, I think right now what government needs to do, I know there is a flood relief going on and all of that, but still they need to get into jalsas, because that is the approach they need to adopt. Prime Minister of Pakistan, he needs to interact with the people in the jalsas, and he needs
Right.
to go to the grassroots level to talk to people out there and make them understand that this is the reality and this is what is going on, and they need to open their eyes right now. And that's where the obviously the narrative of the government can be taken out from there and can be put on TikTok, can be put on Twitter and Facebook and elsewhere, and that's how it can counter the other narratives. Of course, it would be a very aggressive approach, but government needs to adopt an aggressive approach right now.
Right, and I'd like to ask with regards to that, Farokh, when we talk about the government making this effort and then proceeding with this aggressive approach that Faisal has been talking about, is this something that we can afford given the current circumstances, that the government should it be spending its energies or efforts with regards to this, and will it in fact contribute towards helping their stance at the moment, because it's still a lot of discussion around the PTI chairman that has been going on. And secondly, since we're short on time, I'd also like to talk about the kind of language that is being used in the way that this Hakiki Azadi March is being described by the PTI chairman, with words like sacrifice or jihad. And we've seen that this religious sentiment has been part of the PTI's narrative for quite some time. In fact, perhaps all political parties, unfortunately, in our country have used the religious card at some point or the other, and to some extent or the other. But when we take a look at the way that this is influencing public opinion, or the kind of impact that it has, shouldn't there be any accountability for that? Because of course there's a lot of other issues that have been brought to the limelight and really questioned even in the courts because of the kind of influence or impact that they could have on public reaction. Shouldn't this also be something that needs to be questioned and looked at?
Right, Sana, because you have shortage of time, your answer to your question in three parts with three principles and three observations. Regarding the government's decision or government's, Faisal's call for the government to actually hold jalsas and, actually go for optics. I think optics are important, but not at the cost of substance. This is very important thing to understand. You can save the government, you can save political causes, but first of all, you have to save the people of Pakistan. So I think that at this moment, we should be focusing more on that regarding the three principles, because earlier, at this moment you just mentioned jihad and all this, a pseudo-religiosity attack to Imran Khan Saab's cause. And but I'm going to do it. I'm going to connect with the issue of audio visuals that we were earlier talking about. There are three very important principles that we have to bear in mind. One, when it comes to video leaks, particularly, you have to remember that anything that diverges anybody's personal life or it around that should not be encouraged, right? Regardless of what it is, I think that we all are entitled to our privacy, and I think that if we start crossing those lines, then there will be no limit. Second principle: never treat any stolen information or leaked documents or leaked information as gospel. If somebody can always manipulate the content and they can actually push it forward. Right? The third thing, of course, is that while we are doing this, we have to look at the content of things that were said earlier, in these leaks as well. I think that the concerns I have, I don't care about Malik Riaz and his daughter's discussion, because any two persons can actually sit together and talk about the third person, right? But to me, the biggest gun was the former ladies, talk with the Khan, because that actually shows you what exactly is going on. That whenever you are actually worried about your image, and she says that they are going to blame me for corruption, what we are going to do is we are going to actually make it about, the Rooney Sazish or foreign conspiracy, right? That is a damning evidence.
It is.
But regarding religiosity, my concern at this moment is that there are two tweets that worry me that were put out yesterday. One was a video by CTI's office, and that actually warns people of how easy it is to actually fabricate deepfakes. And that video is interesting because it seems that they are anticipating that there are going to be some video leaks, right? The second one is an emailer that is put out in which Imran Khan Saab is walking in the middle of a river, perhaps, and the impression is given that he is Moses and the sea is parted and his supporters are with him. Right?
Wow.
This kind of pseudo, religiosity actually threatens to damage not only the religious image and politics at large, but
Absolutely.
also the social, because they are young people, impressionable minds. If you start actually telling them that you have to deify your leaders, then we are really doomed. So
Absolutely.
I'm good with you that this kind of impulse should be discouraged. But will it be discouraged? I don't think so. I think at this moment, the fight in which the government and Imran Khan Saab are locked in might be devastating, but it will go to its logical conclusion. And I fear that while we are actually waiting for it, there are two Imran Khans, Sana. One Imran Khan, the person who has actually served the people, and to me, he has served them well. Maybe health card, maybe Ehsaas grant, good things that he has done. And then there's
Right.
Imran Khan, the demagogue, the person who has been actually playing with all the politics and everything. My fear is that we will end up losing good Imran in this whole fight. And there's a possibility that it will end with the loss of Imran Khan.
Right, and absolutely. And that is, of course, unfortunate if that happens. Absolutely. Ahmed Jamaat sir, very quickly, since we're extremely short on time, with regards to the kind of statements coming in, it seems that the BTI chairman thinks that you and the government or the PDM is not really prepared for what he is going to be bringing in. What do you have to say to that? And when we take a look at the kind of consequences or measures that may need to be taken by the government, are you ready to take any and every measure required?
Aggressive approach?
Absolutely, Sana. First of all, we must remember that Imran Khan, he claims himself to be the master of mind game, and he does play mind games. So when he says that the government is not prepared what he's bringing, so basically this is part of his mind game, which he always tries to unnerve the government or the opponent. So I don't think so. He's bringing anything different than the past. It is
All right.
the same Forex. And in my opinion, the government is now better prepared than 25 million. This I
All
can
right,
say.
great, great. Thank you very much, Ahmed Jawad Saab, for joining us,
Thank you.
Farooq Batafi and Raja Faisal for being with us in the debate. That's all that we have for now from the debate. Of course, much remains to be seen as to what is going to happen, but the government is prepared, and so we're going to see whether or not there is going to be any crisis. We hope there isn't, because the country is already dealing with a major one. That's all that we have now. See you tomorrow.